second. Why is it so dark? Oh, there we go. It's like, hello. Okay, there we go. There we go. And we can just go like this.
So that was the problem.
Oh yeah, go like that. There you go. Move that over. There we go.
Scoot back for a minute. Now I just want to see if we can see you. Yeah, that's good.
It's good. It's good. I'll put this one. Hi, it's oh, we're live. We're live on there too. We're live in living color. That's really shiny. What's wrong with that? I don't know. Why are you so shiny?
I'm shiny too. It makes you feel better. Hi.
Hello.
See how you're not centered in mine? But don't move because then it sets the rest of them off. See how we're
okay. Okay. Hey. Hey everyone. We're good. You're good.
I just wanted you to be like not just half of you.
There. Hi.
Hi, we're gonna talk in each other's ears today.
Just be like just face to face. It's not weird at all.
See, and then you can't move.
Okay,
you can't go that way.
I'm not a very good unmover.
I know.
Do you know me?
It's gonna be really hard.
We'll
just stay still.
Okay, we'll stay still.
Hi.
Hi everyone.
Welcome to Energized
Motherhood. Getting better.
We're getting better, better and better and better.
We are hiding in the playroom today.
Yep.
Because we let one small 17-pound child dictate our lives.
That's okay.
That's fine.
That's what you do as mothers.
Yep, because schedules are
important
in life-giving.
Yep.
Life-giving. So, first we want to come give you a couple little updates.
Yes.
So Andrea is adding to her summer with a jar. She's adding a little summer routine.
Mm-hmm. And I'll do a video about it. Okay. I like that you encouraged me to do a video about it. So yes, I'll go do that.
She's going to share on a video, but she is going to add a little bit more for her son so that he's more involved in doing some things. But we did get these and we are going to laminate them. So for those of you who were asking last time, this is the before you get electronics, you have to actually you have to do
all these things.
So if you wanted a copy, just message one of us and we can give you the digital copy so that you can go and print them out.
Yeah, and they suggested that you laminate it so that you can use it over and over and get a little dry erase marker, and it makes it fun. You can get different colors so it represents that child.
Yep, and you can even put on a little clipboard, like a blue.
I saw it on a clipboard actually.
Yeah,
I might do the clipboard just to make it more fun. But yeah, I'll do a separate video just because my son's 8 and he was like, not too excited about the calendar, where my daughter was like, woo, stickers! Kimmy's getting us stickers. And Costin's like, eh. So I have to think a little bit further. And so I like what he likes, earning things. It's a competition. And so I think this will work. So I'll share that when I get it ready.
But I actually just saw this at Target. They have the little Instagram print cameras that print. Is that what they're called? Yeah. They're like cameras that print it almost like a Polaroid. Polaroid.
Where?
I think they were at Target they were at Target for $10. So there's some really cheap,
that's
crazy,
bad.
but I think they're
that's
probably
a great
all
idea.
gone. But we're gonna get a little Polaroid to document our summer. So on that calendar, we can print out those photos, and then they'll live in this playroom of ours. But where yours could live wherever you want to go. So. Today,
our topic is not going to be on summer plans. I accidentally posted that it was on summer plans. But it's not that. We changed our topic. It's on
parental growth.
Parental growth.
We obviously are big on our own growth plans as women, as moms, not as moms, let's just leave that out, but as women, as wives, as just our relationship with God. We're on a let's grow, because growth is really important.
Do you think it also stems from where we both worked at? They were very intentional with that, like having a growth plan all the time.
You had that.
I did not have that. I had that. So I think that's where mine is super strict.
Not in my world.
Oh. Sorry. In mine, yes. Okay.
Yes.
Because that's where mine stemmed from.
No, I think mine stemmed from so let's be real. I never really wanted to grow. I don't actually really like school. I don't like taking tests. I don't like reading. I don't have time to read books. So I like reading books, but not always.
I don't like reading books.
I mean, there you go. There you have it. So I think for me, when I became a business owner, one of the very first things they tell you is you've got to be working on your growth plan. And so there's no reason why you shouldn't have a parental growth plan. And something Andrea and I have both been doing, and we actually do it a lot together, is because again, not a reader, husbands, let's be real, they're not really picking up books. They will listen to podcasts.
Yep. They both have a commute, so that works in our favor.
They both have a commute. Yep. And they are friends, so they can. So something we kind of all implemented. We all became big fans of Parenting on Purpose.
Yes.
It's Dr. Bob Barnes. He's a phenomenal teacher and pastor, and he's with Sheridan House Ministries. And we started listening to him, and we would all listen to the same. Like we would stay within the same subject, and then it gives you conversation to have. And it's been so, I mean.
And it has helped us parent our kids together, because we had to share like what we want to do as parents.
Yeah.
And so it's allowed to us want to be around each other more, because I know Kim and James is going to parent my two the way I would. And my kids know they have to listen to Kimmy and Jamesy, because that they have to respect them just as much as they respect any other adult.
Right.
So I think it's teaching them to respect their elders no matter what.
Yeah. Doesn't matter who they're
around. My kids are learning that. But you forget, like when you become a parent, you just think you're going to know it all. Like that internal instinct's going to kick in. And it does for some things. I call it the mom gut. Sometimes the mom gut does
carry you.
But they didn't come with a manual.
No.
Wish they would have came with manual.
And they're so different.
Yes.
So different. Not even just girl, boy, but different in like personalities.
Yeah.
I mean, I have two boys that are night and day.
Yes, you do.
They are totally different people, and they have to be parented totally different. One is sensitive and needs just like, actually they're both kind of sensitive, but different sensitive
over the like a little bit more sensitive than the other.
And then there's birth order. There's all these things that we need to take into account in when we learn. And I think all it really does, truthfully, sure, you could just kind of whimsically, that's not a word.
Yeah.
You know
what we mean.
You could parent whimsically.
Yeah.
That's not a word, but we'll go with it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm trying to say. But the truth is, when you get to hear from an expert, there is something that is so life-giving, and they are outside of your situation so that they can speak life into you, and you maybe didn't even realize that you needed to hear that X, Y, and Z.
And don't listen to just one or read just one book. I was a big Baby Wise person with my first, and did like pre-toddler wise, toddler wise, all of that. And then I can't really relate past that with my oldest. He definitely follows suit. My daughter did not follow suit with any of that wise stuff.
She's like, no, baby.
No, Mom, no. And so that's what I mean. Like, you need to find what works for your own personality, like what's going to help you grow and be a better parent, help you grow and be a better spouse, so you parent with your spouse. I think I'm really big about that with my husband, is like, I want to parent with him, not against him.
Right. Or like, hey, we've recently come into a situation where something that James grew up only as the main parenting way. I thought I was on board when we talked before we had kids, but even when they were babies, like we were all on the same page. And then guess what happened? I'm not on board. I'm not on board with how that is. And it took us a long time. I mean, it took us let's just say, Avery, we don't parent. You don't really baby. You don't parent really until one, even 18 months. So now it took us about 4 years for us to really see, this isn't going to jive with my person, and here is why. And then for us to kind of work through, okay, well, if that's just how I know how to parent, how am I going to do it? And
my situation was different, where I wasn't raised that way, that particular discipline, and I do it, and it drives my husband crazy.
This is why we get along so
well. Because he remembers it as a child. But we both didn't have it to the extreme. And so he's very adamant about not doing it and doing more like, I learned Love and Logic growing up. Not Love and growing up. teaching. And he would comment on that, like, hey, when you're in the classroom, you were so good at like praising a bad, like when you saw bad behavior happening, you're so good at like finding the good in it to switch the behavior. But you can't do that with your own kids. You immediately like escalate past. And so we do this thing now where I was like, after listening to Bob, I said to my husband, hey, I want to stop doing this. And it's mainly me. So you need to call me out.
Right.
And send me to timeout. Like, and be like, Andrea, you're up here. You need to get calmed down and let's come back. And so we have that agreement where he'll be like, breathe or go timeout. And that's my cue. I think also we have a mutual friend that has 4 children. Her kids are older, and we reach out to her sometimes with advice.
I was just going to bring her up.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
So find someone that's already been through it, or like a few years ahead of you, who you can
call in those situations that you're like, what did I do?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they listen. Like, she always just listens to us, like, cry, whine, whatever.
Yep.
Prays for us, gives her advice.
But probably the best advice she ever gave, because I remember calling her it was a wild Avery day, and I think I had just dragged her from a dance class, and she screamed and cried and threw the biggest fit ever. She just wanted to stay. She just didn't want to leave the dance class. This was, she was little. She wasn't little. She would at least be 3. And anyway, it was the worst temper tantrum we've ever had. And I remember calling her. I'm like, this is happening all the time. I'm going to lose my mind. Like, what am I doing wrong? And the best advice she ever gave to me was, how is your relationship with God? She said, if you're not growing or giving this part of it to him, you're always going to feel like you're the tension.
Yeah.
And so anytime I'm feeling like, man, this isn't working, or shoot, we're kind of failing, or what do I need to do here? I quickly just I assess my own being, because the likelihood of who we are is probably the reason we're bunkering it at parenting.
Yeah.
Is because we're not being our best selves, which is, I mean, we preach that from the, maybe that'll be our next topic, but if we're not taking care of our person, the likelihood of us being able to take care of our kids,
little humans,
is pretty low.
That should be our next topic.
Yeah, I think that should.
I think for me, my parents, I love my parents, and I called them a lot sometimes for parenting. We've had to put a boundary up where I had to say, Mom, you need to be my mom, not be the grandma. Because she would get super defensive for them. And I'm like, okay, remember, for me, like, you had to parent me. But one thing that I remember when we had Costin, I said, I know he's only a baby, but when it's time, when he can pick up on things and talk back and go to you and try to negotiate this, one thing my parents were so good about is, like, I would go up to my mom and be like, well, Dad said I could have this. And then she'd be like, no. And then I'd go back. My parents would then come together and say, hey, Liz, did you say Andrea can have that ice cream? And my mom would be like, no, or reversal, then the back and forth, and then just giving in type of thing. Because then it showed me at a very young age, crap, I cannot manipulate my parents. Because they were always on the same page. When I got in trouble, it was the same thing.
Yep.
Oh, when Dad gets home, we're going to sit down together and talk about this. And I was like, crap, can't manipulate my way out of that.
Because the more you can do together, the better you're going to be. So getting your spouse on a parental growth plan together, finding a podcast that you like together is huge. And the truth is, most of the podcasts are men and a woman, but I would say they're leading with a man.
Yep.
And so men are going to hear from men better than they are if they're going to listen to some woman. Unfortunately, it's just going to go into their brain. It's the same as if their friend gives them advice that you just had given them the exact same advice, but they hear it from the friend and they're like, oh, but
they receive it better.
Way better. And so get on board with them, figure out what your parental growth plan is, and
sit down and talk about it together. And if you have good friends that you want to hold you accountable to it, have a get together and say, hey, this is what we're doing. Can you hold me to this? So when you see me, and please call me out. I mean, Kim's called me out where she said, calm down, or you'll take over.
Because I'm more of her husband.
She's more my husband. Or I'll just go hide with James. Let's go yell together.
Let's go yell at the kids.
Come on, let's go. Let's run off together.
Chris and I are like, stop yelling. Be happy.
Yeah, be kind. But another podcast that I just started listening to, our friend Lindsay recommended it. Sarah recommended it to her.
Yeah.
And Lindsay posted about called Raising Boys and Girls. And I highly recommend it. I don't like to recommend podcasts too much because it's like a personal choice. But Bob and this one have really made me look, just reminds you, to look at yourself, to look at your own parenting. I mean, it was a guy, I was telling him, it was a lady that runs the podcast, but she is a guy, a man and a woman psychologist leading it, and they're both parents. And they have the boys and the girls in their household. And they range from birth to 18 years old. So they're giving you different stages from psychological, social, behavioral, and really looking at things and having you check yourself. And so that's another one that I highly recommend, that I was talking Kim's ear off this morning and was like,
go listen,
but also hold me accountable to those things.
Yeah.
So I would say your homework would be go look at something.
Go find a podcast or a book
if you're a mom.
Yeah.
Or a dad, that would help you grow more in parenting, because you're always growing. Our kids grow. Yeah. I mean, my mom says she's still learning because she's got to deal now with a almost 35-year-old. Like, you're always still learning as a parent. And then
report back and let us know what you listen to.
Share, because it might be ones we want to listen to too. We would love to hear. Please comment and say, this podcast we found, you and Kim should check it out, because you can't grow if you don't share.
Yep. So that's it from us today. Short and sweet, to the point.
Under 20 minutes. Woo! We're working.
So thank you for watching.
Yes. Have a great Friday.
And we'll see you next week.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
We have to turn all our devices off.
I need to go and rock.
Feed the babes.
Not feed, just rock.
Oh, rock.
You got it?
Yep. I'll end all of this.